Ciao, darlings. How are you doing today? Happy Friday. If you celebrate those things, it's Friday as I record this. In this moment, we've got the sun finishing up its last degrees in Cancer, so just feel it all. This weekend's just going to be really intense for just cry it out, yell it out, deadlift until you can't deadlift anymore, and just like let God take over a little bit. Let God take over a little bit. We're riding some interesting waves around here. So today we are going to be talking about Leo season and a little bit of what that's going to feel like. We've got a Venus retrograde going on. We have Chiron going retrograde. There's like fire starter energy around here. So please go grab a coffee or a tea, go grab a snack, and we're just going to talk about Leo season and what it might feel like for us. So please, what can I, Esmeralda and her little hat for the pause. Here we go. So cute, right? All right. Now, going into this season, it might just feel like, how do I say this gently? There's no gentle way to say it. You might really be like straddling two different fucking worlds right now, where you feel like you're so close to where you're meant to be and who you're meant to be, but there's just some old like trauma responses, weaknesses that you're just like, this is what used to feel great, and now I did it and I feel like an asshat, or I really thought that this would jazz me up because it used to jazz me up, but after you have that experience, you're just diminished. So I really like to, at this point in time, because like I'm an experiential learner, and I'm sure that a lot of you as leaders are, we can't slow down in this world. Check in with yourself after you have an experience or conversation with someone and see how you feel after. Like not during the moment, because we can definitely like put on a good show and be like, everything's great, everything's fine, I'm great. But then afterwards, where you're alone with your thoughts, how do you feel? How do you feel? Like if you're spending time with someone that you used to be very close with, and maybe afterwards you're like unpacking, like, okay, how can I help this person? They're in this trauma, they're in this experience, they're in this thing, and I really want to help them, but they're not looking over at this. Like if you're taken out of your lane after you spend time with someone, or after you do a thing, or after you work the 3D job that you're really just like, I don't really want to do this anymore, maybe take a moment and say, hey, I really don't feel good after this anymore. I used to feel great, now it really doesn't light me up anymore. So just acknowledge it and say, okay, well, obviously something here needs to change, and journal about it, pray about it. Tell your higher self about it. Because right now, going into the fire season that we're going into, this, like, usually I'm like, fresh start, fire starter, let's do this. But for this one, because we're really going into retrograde season and we're really going into the Venus retrograde on the same day that the sun goes into Leo, Venus, this little guy over here, is going to go retrograde in Leo. So tons of astrologers, tons of readers, tons of channelers are just saying like, new relationships, don't start. New hairstyles, don't start. What do we do in the retrograde? We look back. I always think of like red right returning. Like I live in a boating town, so like always think of like the words, revisit, recycle. Take a look at, maybe these experiences, or maybe these people, maybe these situations, maybe these jobs, maybe the situationship that popped into my head that really like used to give you the pizzazz, but now you're like, actually, like, I don't need that bump anymore. Give it to God. Because if you're there doing it, if you're there with it, this obviously is something bigger than you and bigger than you're human. And maybe it's a past life experience that's happening. Everything is multidimensional right now. And like time and space are really getting all sorts of warped, and like everything's upside down. You wake up in the morning and you're just like, where am I? What's going on? We have glitches in the matrix all over the place. We have like time is odd, space is odd. Things are just happening in a way that might not make sense to you. So if something's going on and the bell is constantly going off, invite the God of your understanding into the room, into the conversation, and be like, there's obviously a gold nugget here. You're telling me I can't move forward. I have Pluto retrograde, I have Saturn retrograde, I have Neptune retrograde. Now I'm going to have Venus retrograde, and then we're going to have Chiron retrograde. The nodes just transited into Aries and Libra. So much change is happening in the stars, in our internals, in the planets, in the cosmos, in our being, in our soul, in our ascension, in our awakening. So then maybe don't make massive moves in the 3D world. Maybe look to simple pleasures and simple joys and what does really jazz you up about this season. I'll speak first from I statements. We're in the Northern Hemisphere and it's a sunny, beautiful, sun-shining day usually. Right now it's cloud covered. And a dear friend of mine, the owner of the cafe that I frequent all the time, I love her so much, she had planted a seed and let me know that, every 8 to 10 years, Gloucester has a season like this that's really cloud covering and really the garden's popping. I have beautiful cucumbers and the tomatoes are just coming up, everything, the lettuce, everything. The raspberries, they look beautiful. But we don't have the constant expectancy of the sun. So with that being said, in the outer, we're going into Leo season, which is run by the sun. On the very general wheel, the 5th house is run by Leo. This is fixed, positive fire energy. So think of a beautiful bonfire on the beach that you could just stare into forever. But it's not like the fire starter that's Aries energy or the freaking forest fire that is Sag energy. This is fixed. It ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. So take a look at what is on your plate right now. Your plate of life. You have family members, you have friends, you have relationships, you have jobs, you have responsibilities. What is on your plate right now, I want you to deep dive and focus into, because that's where the goodness is. That's where the gold nuggets are. With Venus, our planet of love and abundance and money and the very yin side of things, the very feminine, how we like to receive love, how we feel good. Going retrograde in Leo might convince us to oh my God, the song, Hey Big Spender, is just popping into my head where it's don't start an OnlyFans. Don't start a huge thing that's so outside of your realm. Don't step so far outside of yourself that you're I don't know if this is the thing to do, but it feels great. I'm getting attention. Don't be an attention seeker. Don't go small. Don't go small. With Venus in Leo, don't look outside for the love, look inside for the love. What's on my plate and what is missing in my heart? If it's a partner, amazing. Acknowledge that it's a partner. But maybe make a list of things that you want from your partner. Yeah. What's the ideal partner? What do they do? What is it that they're going to provide for you that you cannot provide for yourself? And look at that list. Because if you're looking for a man to provide your money, no ma'am. Learn to love yourself and find abundance within yourself and give yourself a space to maybe be out in the woods and be wow, there's such an abundance of nature and growth and experiences and adventure. Put yourself in an abundant space. Even the garden is abundant. Going to the beach and looking at the infinity of the ocean is abundant. Looking at a flower can be very abundant. Buying yourself a bouquet of flowers. Yeah, look at what's missing with Venus retrograde on the plate that you've got. It's almost like you've got so much on your plate, but you don't want to deal with what's on your plate. So you're I need this, I need this, I need this. No, look inward and don't spend big. But now let's look at the positive sides of Leo and kind of a little bit of how we're all going to be feeling over here. It's going to be hot. It's going to be delicious. It's going to be spicy. We're going to have big hair. It's going to be beautiful. We're all going to feel so lovely and delicious. So be out and enjoy yourself, but don't be looking around for another thing. Be out and watch yourself from above. Very different. I'm going to paint a picture for you. We're going to John Travolta walk down the street together, and we're going to be just vibing, and it's going to be great, and you have people walking past you. And sometimes when we're in lack or when we're in bitterness, we're looking around, we're like, is this person looking at me? Is this my future partner? What's going on over here? What's happening over there? They don't look as good as I do. They look delightful. They look this, they all over the place. What if we watched ourselves from above and we loved up on ourselves? We're like, look at that saunter. Look at those deep breaths. I know you felt a little anxiety this morning, but look how calm your nervous system is right now. Ooh, we didn't even put a bra on today. That's kind of amazing and delicious for you. I love everything about that for you. And for divine feminine, I always like to split and go divine feminine or divine masculine. Divine feminine, we are not going out there to assert. We're not going to emasculate our man the second that we see him. We're going to let him do his thing. We're going to let them see us and treat us like the princesses we are. And I'll say divine feminine if you're within a relationship, maybe spice it up a little bit for this season and have some romantic time with your partner. Divine masculine, if you're out on the prowl, starting new relationships during this season, especially with the Venus retrograde, isn't the most advantageous because we can hop on that pop and deep dive into it, swan dive into concrete and just be like, this is everything I've ever needed and more. No, we have Neptune and Saturn retrograde right now. It's not everything you needed and more. So if you are keen to start a relationship, if you see a goddess out there and you want to tell her that she's a goddess, go tell her that she's a goddess. Definitely ask her out if that's really what you're feeling, but go slow as molasses. Just trust me on this one. Just go slow as molasses. We have a lot of planets that are just making us reach for the lowest hanging fruit when we've been planting redwood seeds since January, and our biggest abundances might be right around the corner. When the sun goes into Virgo, the next season, that's when we're focused on our everyday life and practical service and health and wellness. And this is the health axis, the 6th and the 12th over here. Oh, that's something that I wanted to say just for this weekend. We have Mars and Saturn in opposition of each other. So this is like assertiveness, spiciness, delusion, our disciplinarian. There's just just be kind to yourself. And if you see someone outside of you that's floundering, that's screaming, that's beeping their horn, that's going fucking hog wild, that's going crazy, just let them be. Just let them be. And, as multidimensional beings, and a little bit of the egg theory, if that's something that you're familiar with, where we are all God having a human experience, and technically we're the only ones here. So I'm the only one here because I'm God having a human experience. I am you, you are me. It doesn't really fully, it's hard to kind of describe, but if you've looked up the egg theory, definitely look into that. But when you see someone outside of yourself that's having an irrational moment, that's pitching a fit, that's screaming and yelling, we're doing whatever, something that is very displeasing to your human avatar, instead of judging them, say thank you. I'm so grateful that you took on that soul contract so that I don't have to do it. I'm so grateful that you are having that experience in this lifetime so that my human avatar does not have to experience it in this human lifetime. Really, the attitude of gratitude will change your whole life. Will change every little bit. I'm grateful for my fingers. I'm grateful for my toes. I'm grateful for opposable thumbs. I can pick up a coffee cup. I can put it back down again. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. Even if it's not the roof that I thought it was going to be, it is an incredible roof, and I'm safe. So always going back to gratitude is a wonderful expression of just yourself. What else did I want to say about this? Okay, so we've talked about the Venus retrograde. Let's talk a little bit about Chiron going retrograde, because that kind of has to do with the nodes a little bit. But so this house over here is our in the beginning, the storefront view of our life, traditionally run by Aries, which is cardinal fire energy. So if you know an Aries in your life, they are the fire fucking starter. If you go up to them and be like, hey, that person hurt me, they are already literally screaming and yelling at them. And they're like, I don't know what is happening. I was just told to go do something, so now I'm going to do it so nobody else has to do it. They're definitely the infant babies of the zodiac, but we're baby and daddy rolled into one. So it's like we'll be crying through the experience, but like all's well. We have the North Node that just went into Aries. We've talked about that a little bit, but it's really as a collective for the next 18 months. This is going to be, we all as a collective want to start something first, do something first, be the first one to experience something. This is entrepreneurial energy. This is, you know, people taking over for the music industry, the movie industry. This is like the simple people taking over for, you know, the ones, the souls of the devil and stuff like that. We don't have to talk about that, but it's like, now's your stage. Truly. If you have something to say, you have something to dance, you have something to sing, just keep putting yourself out there. Dude, I know it's exhausting. It took me like an hour to make a reel today. Literally an hour. My 36-year-old human avatar is just trying her best. But as we know, as small business owners, we are content creators at the very same time. So it's just, yeah, just play the game. Just do your best. Just do it. Just do it. Do it the Aries way. Just do it. Okay, so with Chiron, Sarah, who the fuck is Chiron? Chiron is our wounded healer, the wounded warrior. And although I really, you know, I use the term, you know, like past lives, tales, but past life in a multidimensional way because things are happening all at the same time, it kind of is like our core wound where we're like, like this hurts. And with Chiron and Aries, it's kind of like there's a wound to who we really are. It's a little bit hard for us to express our full selves. And I find this to be fascinating because like a Chiron return happens when you're around like 50, 51 and stuff like that. So it's kind of like that midlife crisis where it's like, who am I? Why can't I do anything? That's Chiron. Why can't I do anything? I need shiny things. It's going great. That's Chiron. So Chiron's going to go retrograde literally. So tomorrow's the 22nd. Sun goes into Leo, Venus goes retrograde, and on the 23rd, Chiron's going retrograde in Aries. So this is a lot of fire energy in reversal. So don't be the negative side of Aries, that self-centered baby, and just saying like, can't have it my way. Well, fuck off. I'm going to change my hair. I'm going to buy this car. I'm going to buy a round of drinks for everybody. I'm going to prove you wrong. Don't do that. Those are the planets. With this knowledge, don't do the things. Look at what you've done. Look at how you've been. Look at how you feel after you do a thing or after you have an experience. Meditate with the God of your understanding within that space. And just honest to goodness, like with this Venus retrograde, maybe do a cleanse. Maybe do a celibacy. Maybe do, like, yeah, I have a little flyer on me that's saying, yes, fucking A, yes. Like, maybe take yourself out of that situation. Maybe pull back a little bit from that job, or just at least mentally and emotionally investing and say, this isn't serving me. This isn't serving the new me. And with this Chiron retrograde, with the nodes going in here, this is going to be a little bit of like, when you're just walking the runway and you feel like a sassy animal and you're just like, I'm divine, and then you trip a little bit. You're like, shit, did anyone see that? Get the fuck up and keep walking. I don't care if you tripped. I don't care if you used to have kale in your teeth. I don't fucking care if you did something yesterday. That's not you. Yesterday doesn't exist. Tomorrow doesn't exist. All you have is right fucking now. Right fucking now. So be your badass self and love yourself. Take all that outer, I need, see me, and go inward and say, God, I've been fucking lost. What am I doing? Tell me what you want. Give me a sign. Show me something to give me hope, to give me something. I'm trying to hear your messages and it's not coming through the right way. Slow down. And stop looking outside of yourself and saying, is it this person? Is this person? Is this person? Is it this job? Is it that? It's that. It's you. Because at the end of the day, if what we're really working towards is, you know, abundance, financial freedom, time freedom, that relationship, remember, there'll be a day after. I can hear somebody just vibing outside. It's nice. There'll be a day after. The day after you meet that person, the day after you receive that amount of money, the day after you get that job, there will be a day after where it's just you. That's to get up in the same house and go sit on the same toilet and be the same human being. So it has nothing to do with our external reality. Again, the egg theory, that partner, that thing, it doesn't exist. It's just you. So find the vibration within yourself to live into that freedom. So you're not looking for anything. You're just watching yourself like a movie. Watch yourself, Leo season, like the main motherfucking characters. Fire signs are the main characters right now. Oh my God, Sag, I just have to say, you're going to be super activated by all this, but in like a backhanded way. So if you're a Sag and you just are experiencing all the experiences right now, please reach out directly, send me a DM, and we can do a reading for you, because it's jealous is the wrong word. You're going to be, it's almost like the planets are like whispering to you, be like, do it, do it, do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Leo season's a vibe for Sag and for Aries, but with all these retrogrades going on right now, who matters? Who's in your inner circle? Don't look outside of yourself. Don't look outside of that inner circle for help, for relationships, for anything. Slow down and love up on yourself. 5th house, creativity, play, romance, childlike spirits or kiddos if you want to have those things. Like definitely, and I'm going to go into it in the individual readings and talking about like when is it a good time planetarily to have kids and things like that, because this is definitely a time, instead of actually the consciousness is coming in right now, you can just look at your partner and you'll just it'll happen. So it's I won't even give any advice on having kiddos right now, but all of this excitement happening here. What do you love most about your family, your chosen family, your friend group? What do you love most about that job that you hate? What brought you to that job that you think that you hated? Go back to center. Go back to the purity. Like when you think of a Leo, they can be your biggest cheerleader. Like an evolved Leo is one of your biggest cheerleaders. They'll be like, everyone needs to stop and look at my friend because they just got their lashes done. They look like a fucking diva and they're going to catwalk through this room because we've rehearsed it 7 times. So everybody sit the fuck down. And this is happening. Yeah, this is happening. And it might be just going down Main Street or in the aisles of the grocery store. But the whole world's a stage. And in Leo season, we all want to be the main characters. So is that it? Is there anything that my guides are trying to say? Moisturize a little bit. Be cognizant of what it is that you're putting on your skin and in your body right now. Definitely do your own research about the water that you're drinking, about the ingredients that are in the sunscreens or the products that you're putting in your hair or on your body or the food that you're ingesting. Just be as conscious and aware of what you are ingesting. Even content. If you're scrolling randomly, you're literally giving randomness the chance to plant seeds in your brain garden. Be conscious of what you're doing. What am I doing and why? What am I ingesting and why? If I'm just picking up my phone to randomly scroll, can I pick up Duolingo instead? Can I try to put a language into my brain? Can I do something that doesn't make me anxious? Because as much as we love a random scroll, and I do as well, don't get me wrong, I'm not preaching to you saying I don't do this. Sometimes on my Sunday, I'm literally just I need to check out and I need to just not give a fuck. But when I come out of that, again, look at what happens after the moment. I'm anxious. And I feel bitter. And I feel like I can't figure out the algorithm. I can't do this, can't. But then I look at, when I go into the garden or when I, have a great dance party with myself or have a great workout or I create some fun art and I express myself and I let my inner child heal and I do some childhood trauma healing. I feel so jazzed up after that that's what I'm going to be focused on. Yeah, now is not the time to make these massive changes. I want you to sink in and enjoy the deliciousness of the season that you're in. Whether it be Northern Hemisphere sunniness or the Southern Hemisphere, like enjoy the depths of winter. Enjoy the hibernation. Enjoy loving up on yourself. Like just, yeah, and moisturize. Look into organics. Look into the products that you're eating. Especially in the United States. I'm just saying, like, just don't listen to me, but I had really, I'll speak from I statements. It has been, and I'll do a whole video on mental health again, because I had talked about it with Saturn going retrograde and with Neptune going retrograde. So I've talked about mental illness before and mental health and how it's a huge fucking deal right now. So definitely go back and watch my, my Saturn, the mental health is a big fucking deal right now video, because I was experiencing, and am coming out of a super like deep, dark depression space. Like sitting in a pile of my own filth type of like, no, this is comforting. This is what I know. And anxiety, intrusive thoughts, like really powerful stuff. And I know that my consciousness told God that I would go first. So if that is me, A, having my own feelings, and B, experiencing a little bit of the collective consciousness, if anyone is feeling these feelings, please reach out directly for a private reading, private session. I'm happy to hold space for you, because it is no fucking joke. It's no joke. It's real shit. And when you come out of those experiences and you kind of just get like super mad at yourself, and you're just like, how could I feel these feelings? How could I experience all these experiences? Like how, like, Sarah, you're a leader. You're supposed to tell people what to do about this, and you're experiencing all these things. I was eating gluten again. I was eating a lot of gluten, and I was not eating as much organic food as I normally did. I would show up at, like my restaurant and be like, oh, I'll just have a family meal. It's okay. I know that gluten's not the best for me, but I'm gonna have pasta and it's just fine. I don't have to poop for a few days. And then my skin gets all Dalmatian-y again, and it really doesn't like me. It really doesn't like me. So the more I incorporated organic food back into my lifestyle, and I just took the gluten away, I took the gluten and the sugar completely away. And, I kept dairy for this time around, just for eggs and, to milk for bondant, for things like that within baking. Because I took all my old recipes and I made them gluten and sugar free. So I've been using, because normally I'm gluten-free, sugar-free, and dairy-free, but right now I'm keeping the dairy just to kind of see if like, it can stay. Like, oh, fucking manchego cheese. Like, come on. But with those lenses, mental health, what was I ingesting? I was ingesting unconsciously. Like, there literally was a time that canola oil was only sold at the hardware store, like within your grandparents' lifetime. And now we're putting it in everything. So when we look at a lot of the manipulation that's been happening with our food, especially in the United States, like I'm and a brazen statement, I am not a nutritionist, I am not a holistic health coach. I have some incredible resources if you are interested, very like local families that I can connect you to, local people, personal trainers, nutritionists, anybody. So if you are interested and are in need of assistance, I can happily connect you to people that are very well versed in this and can do 30-day programs, how to like really reboot your gut and reboot your life. But it's a real thing. It's a real deal. It's a real thing. So check what you're ingesting. Don't look outside of yourself to placate yourself. Like look at what it is that you're missing, but also like look at what's on your plate right now and love up on it. Love every little crumb that is on your plate, every little thing, even if it's a negative, even if it's something like a situationship that you're just like, why the fuck can't I get rid of you? Because there's something there. There's something there that needs to be healed. There's something there that needs to be dealt with. So deal with it. Because when the planets go direct again later on this year, and we're going into eclipse season and stuff like that, like things will move forward again. Things will move quickly again. But right now, bottom of the chart, internals. This side of things are relationships. This side of things, yourself. This is public life up here. Right now, we, like, as a collective, things are happening on the inside. So follow the planets. Listen to the energy of the planets. Listen to the stars and surrender to the current. Yesterday doesn't exist. Tomorrow is a figment of our imagination. All we have is this moment right here and right now, my dears. I love you. I will see you soon. We will be talking about the full moon that we have coming up in Aquarius. Aquarius. That's going to happen over here in our community friendship and wishes for the future. So the old you's got to go. The old you in your community's got to go. Old friendships, old everything. We'll be releasing them to God. Again, we're not making big like, fuck you, do this, do this, do this, do this. We're asking the energy to help us. Give it to the woo-woo. Give it to the woo-woo. Can't even get into it. All right. Ciao. Have a beautiful weekend, my dears.